Hello and welcome to Parents' Night. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and to learn a little bit about geometry and about me. My name's Andrea Miller and I'm your student's teacher this year. If for any reason you need to contact me, the best way to do so is email. And my email is milleran@wellesleyps.org. You will notice they threw an extra N in there, so it's Miller AN instead of just Miller A, like some of the other teachers, so just heads up on that. Little bit about me here is that I got my undergrad from Framingham State in math. I got my master's at Harvard University in math for teaching. And throughout that whole thing, I am a huge softball fan. Played softball my whole life, coached at the college level. Now I'm coaching for a club organization out of Central Mass. Some other things I like to do when I'm not thinking about school are spend time outside. And so the center picture here is a picture of me and my husband at the top of one of our hikes in Acadia National Park this past summer, which was a great trip. And I spend a lot of time hanging out with this guy over here on the left, my dog, Rudy. He loves to go hiking with us, but he does not like the water. And so when we go out on a boat, he has to wear his little Sharky life jacket. The last thing I really want you to know about me, though, is that I love my job. I love teaching math. I love working with high school students. It really is a joy for me to come to work every day. And that kind of ties into my teaching philosophy, what I'm thinking here. This year for your students, I want to help them think and understand these geometric concepts and not to memorize them. The goal here is not to make your students memorize all these formulas and just be able to spit them back out at me. That's not really the world we live in today. So what I really want your students to be able to do, kind of jumping to this third bullet here, is like explain their reasonings, be able to critique the work of others, find their mistakes. And to do that, we do need math skills. But we also have to know how and when to apply those skills so we can put them to use in a larger context. And to try and get me to do that, to try and help your students do that, I use a lot of discovery and inquiry-based lessons. So instead of just giving your students the distance formula and teaching them how to use it, we go through kind of a discovery in which we learn about distance and then think about distance kind of as a right triangle, and then build off the Pythagorean theorem, which they already know, to kind of build the distance formula ourselves. Similarly, I really encourage students to have multiple methods of problem solving, to kind of be flexible in their thinking, to be able to think about things graphically or numerically or algebraically, and it really helps them get a full picture and a deeper understanding of what's going on. And the last thing I'm really a huge advocate of is supporting students on an individual level. Every student that walks into my classroom has different needs. And so to the best that I can, I try and meet them where they're at. So for some students, that looks like bonus and challenge questions on the end of homeworks or classworks, where it's kind of taking the concepts we're talking about and pushing it a little further. Can you apply it to this different situation? Can you kind of think about this in a new way? And for some students, that looks like more one-on-one support in the form of extra help or this thing called Math Lab. So if your students in that boat that they need some extra support this year, please encourage them to seek it. And they can seek it either from me in my extra help hours, Monday through Thursday after school, days 2, 4, and 6 during block A, that first block of the day. Tell them to come, drop by. They don't need an appointment, but I do like a little heads up just to make sure that I'm not off running copies when they come to try and find me and ask me some questions. The second option is this thing called the Math Lab, which is a really great resource for the students here at the high school. And what it is it's teacher extra help built into the school day. Math teachers are staffing it, and students are able to go if they have a study or during their Block A period. So they'd sign out of their DR and they can go to the math lab and they can get help with any math that they're working on. So I've included a very tiny snapshot of the schedule here, but a bigger version can be found on our website, the math department website, and I've also linked it in our school Canvas page. Another option, if your students are more independent learners or maybe they liked some of the hybrid learning last year, is they are always welcome to kind of access some online video support. We often use a software called Delta Math, which is online practice, kind of grades those questions right or wrong right away. And for each question set, Delta Math has a video that shows out a worked example. So if your student's working on the homework and they get a little stuck, they can feel free to watch a Delta Math video to try and help them get back on the right track. Same thing goes with Khan Academy videos are really great, or kind of any, if you have a textbook or you kind of Google something and your student finds a tutorial online, great. Anything we can do to kind of get your student to understand the material that we're covering is awesome. So what your student needs for this class, we have a couple of physical things. Notebooks, folder, and binders. Most of us already have that. They will need a scientific calculator. Most students actually already have this as well. If they don't, please check in with them, see if they can grab that. That would be awesome. But really, if your student is ever out or confused or not sure what the homework is, the best place to send them to is our Canvas page. So our Canvas page is organized by course day, and so you can see exactly what we did on that day. It'll tell you what the lesson was, what the homework was, and when our next assessments are. Things that I put on Canvas that might be helpful to your students: all copies of class notes, extra copies of worksheets, solutions for those worksheets. Really helpful if your student is out, has to miss a day of school, and they're feeling okay. Maybe they can check out the class notes in that worksheet and see if they can kind of catch up on their own. Always welcome to come see me too after an absence, but that's an option. There's also lots of review options posted for assessments there. So if your student doesn't know where to turn to study for one of our upcoming assessments, that's a great place to direct them. I'll list out a bunch of resources on our Canvas page. Also, our grades live in Canvas. So all the grades for individual assignments, and they can also sort their grades by the particular standards we're working on and see how are they doing in solving linear equations, how are they doing in geometric notation, which is a really cool feature of Canvas. In terms of what I send to PowerSchool, which you all can access, I put monthly grade updates on PowerSchool, and I also post homework completion on PowerSchool. Homework is not graded, but we do track it for completion just to see patterns of behavior. Is your student keeping up with the work that's assigned? The last thing that your students need, and for you as well, is just to communicate with me when something arises. If you have to be out for a couple of days, if you're really not understanding something, if anything comes up, please, please, please shoot me an email. I'm happy to have conversations, whether on email or set up a meeting or anything that we can do to help your student succeed in this class. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have an excellent rest of your night.